In my mind, I see a line. And over that line, I see green fields and lovely flowers and beautiful white women with their arms stretched out to me over that line. But I can't seem to get there no how. I can't seem to get over that line. That was Harriet Tubman in the 1800s. And let me tell you something. The only thing that separates women of color from anyone else is opportunity. You cannot win an Emmy for roles that are simply not there. So here's to all the writers, the awesome people that are Ben Sherwood, Paul Lee, Peter Nowak, Shonda Rhimes, people who have redefined what it means to be beautiful, to be sexy, to be a leading woman, to be black. And to the Taraji P. Hensons, the Kerry Washingtons, the Halle Berrys, the Nicole Beharies, the Megan Goods, to Gabrielle Union, thank you for taking us over that line. Thank you for the Television Academy. Thank you.
Okay, so you guys just saw the very heartfelt and beautiful speech by Viola Davis, and she has became the first black woman to win an Emmy for Best Lead Actress in a Drama for her role in How to Get Away with Murder. Now, I checked out How to Get Away with Murder. I watched maybe the first 5 episodes of it. Well written. I didn't really continue watching it because it was something about it that just really didn't, to be honest with you, hold my attention. Even though I feel like it had very good writing, the plot was good. It was just something about it. Sometimes we run across those TV productions or movies that just don't really hold our attention. But also, I know good work when I see it, and it was a good show from what I saw. But I wonder, is this, a nigger snack, as I would say, and I'm gonna coin that phrase because, I did invent that term, a nigger snack. And what I mean by a nigger snack is that's when white folks basically throw you a bone to keep you quiet. And the reason I say that is because back in January of this year, Viola Davis actually called out Hollywood for lack of opportunities that are given to black actors and black actresses. And she was well outspoken about the misimbalance of opportunities and how a lot of black actors are basically cast for just a certain particular role. Neither you're the sidekick, or you're the stripper, or you're getting smutted out by some white man. The typical roles that we see a lot of our black women, taking part in, or basically being subjected to, simply because at the end of the day, sometimes you do have to take roles that you might particularly not want to do because you got bills to pay. You got, a family to take care of. So, I understand from that view. Everybody's not a Denzel or a Halle Berry where you can call big mega shots. And I wonder, if they threw her this bone and say, let's give her the Emmy to shut her up. Because here we have, Viola Davis, dark-skinned sister, natural. She's not demonstrating any type of self-hatred. She's not afraid to come out and speak up about things that are not right within the entertainment industry. And a lot of times, people feel like that's a threat, especially someone like Viola Davis, because she's extremely talented. Her, Taraji, Gabrielle Union. These sisters know what they do. Another one I can't forget is Kimberly Elise, which in my opinion is phenomenal. I think she's the next Angela Bassett. But these sisters they're great at what they do, and they have the power and the influence to get people to start thinking, to get things to change, and get other peers around them to start standing up for what's right. And a lot of times we'll have people that, they'll basically throw them a nigga snack and say, okay, we gave you the Emmy, Viola Davis. Okay, now, shut up. You said your little speech and everything, whatever. Be quiet. We'll give Viola Davis, some of the bigger roles, or, we'll give her more opportunities to shut her up and not influence her to get others to start thinking, or get everybody in general to start thinking about Hollywood. And I'm in the entertainment industry. I know how hard it is to climb up that ladder. I told you guys a couple of months ago I got a promotion which I worked my ass off for. I started off as an intern. I didn't have shit, no credentials, nothing, and it's extremely hard to work your way up without kissing ass or without cooning, and to get to a certain position or a certain level in the entertainment industry, especially out here in LA. So, I know how tough it is. But a lot of times, they'll try to, you know, uh, see if they can get you to switch your tune up by throwing you a bone, throwing you money, throwing you a certain opportunity, thinking that you might come out here and throw your people under the bus so that you can somehow or think you're a part of their circle. So, that's just what I question about this whole Emmy Award. And like I said, this is not to take away from Viola Davis or anything like that. She's extremely deserving of this award. I'm glad the sister won. This is encouragement to all the other sisters out there, or, the little girls at home practicing in the mirror or watching, certain movies or whatever, trying to break into, the entertainment industry and be actresses themselves. So, I'm not trying to take away from the war, but also I'm trying to say that we have to be aware of certain things like this. Because you gotta remember back when the Oscars happened and Denzel and Halle Berry got an award on the same night, don't think that happened by coincidence. Okay, that was planned to keep Negroes quiet. And then you look at the roles that they got awards for. Okay, and then both of them did a good job, but let's keep it real. They've been in other movies that were more deserving of awards, especially Denzel in movies like Malcolm X, which was a classic out this world, a masterpiece. The Hurricane. I can go on and on. But don't think that's a coincidence. And I think the real challenge after this is Viola Davis, not forgetting about the struggle. Understand that, okay, I got this Emmy now. I'm put out there in a certain level, in a certain class that I once wasn't before. Let me use that influence and that power to change the game. And I think that's where the real task is going to take place, because, they might throw us a bone here and there, but it's going to take somebody in power to pull a lot of other people up, get other people to be in power so that we can ultimately change the game. But you guys give me your feedback if you want. That's all I got to say. But congratulations to Viola Davis. I hope this sister has many more success. Her and other sisters out there and brothers. I hope we change this game, but it's gonna take a collective of us to do it, and it's gonna take those who have a certain type of influence and power to get the spark going. But I'm out. Peace.